How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. How about you?
I'm pretty good. Tell me about what you got here.
Okay, well, my name is Judith A. Yates. I'm a true crime author and a criminologist. And I write a book, well, the books choose me. And my first one is this one, and it is called The Devil You Know. It was a case that a friend of mine alerted me to, and the article became a story, became several articles, became a book, and it won an award. Then the next one I wrote is called When Nashville Bled, The Untold Stories of Serial Killer Paul Dennis Reed. He was a serial killer in the 1990s that hit Nashville, Tennessee. He initially wanted to be a country and western star, and because he was deaf in one ear and couldn't carry a tune anyway, he ended up robbing fast food restaurants. They called him the fast food killer. I've done several TV shows on this case, but it is written really about crime survivors and the families and friends and loved ones of the people that were killed. Before I wrote this book, I talked to the families of the victims, and I said, I'm not going to do this book if you don't want it to, and every one of them asked me, please do. It was the first case that was aired on television as far as the courts, and it's really more about the way crime victims are treated in the system and the surviving victims are treated in the system. Then I have this one, which is more of a history book, and it's called Put the Money in My Purse, A History of Female Bank Robbers. It's the only book that is written about female bank robbers. And I go back to the 1800s of the first known female bank robber, up until bank robbers that are over 60, 70 years old, bank robbers that are under 15 years old, and just a lot of history. While you're reading about these female robbers, you're also seeing the history of women in the United States. Next, this is a case out of Memphis. It's called She Is Evil. She was a small town Christian girl, and he was from Falesbad. His name was Ijaz Ahmad, and his mother's literal dying wish was to come to the United States and make his fortune, which he did. Ijaz was a very successful businessman. He is highly educated, and their paths crossed, and she saw a meal ticket. She told him that she had been abused by her husband and they took her kids away and all she needed was a break, when in reality, she was actually on parole from a prison while she was incarcerated for selling and dealing drugs. Well, she took Ijaz for everything he had, and he didn't realize it, and he kept telling his family and friends, she just needs a break, she just needs a break. Well, the last thing anybody heard Ijaz say was, she is evil, talking about the perpetrator, because he realized how much she had stolen from him and what all she had been doing. And she was already married, she had kids, and she didn't have her kids because she'd abandoned them, and the husband was not abusive. That was just her story. And finally, out of the Smyrna, Tennessee area, this is called Bullied to Death. It discusses the fallacies of teenagers killing themselves because of being bullied. And there's really a lot more to it than just they were being bullied so they took their own lives. That was interesting because I learned quite a bit from different professionals about why kids commit suicide and the whole dynamics of bullicide. Then, during COVID, all of my presentations were canceled. I present and teach and do workshops all over the United States, hopefully Japan this year. So we invented Survive the Titanic, which is a card game. You can only purchase it through me or through the Titanic museums in the United States. There are two of them, Branson, Missouri, and in Tennessee, in Pigeon Forge. And it's a cool little game because you get to load up your lifeboat with certain items and you have to get rid of certain items out of your lifeboat. But we took it from the victim's point of view. I've been a Titanic fanatic since I was a little girl. And it's really fun. It's, I would say, ages 12 and up. And on each card is some trivia about Titanic or trivia about the survivors. And that's about it. Now, this year we're going to start on our board game, which is called the Lizzie Borden board game. And it's called Lizzie Borden's Ghost, where you are chasing her ghost throughout the scene of the crime, the actual house. Now, the thing about my books is every percentage, a certain percentage made from each book is donated to a nonprofit that the surviving victims chose, and it's made in the names of the victims.
If somebody wants to buy one of your books, how do they get a hold of you?
TrueCrimeBook.net. I'm also on Facebook and at awesome organizations and groups and cons like this one.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.